showcase one of the many outstanding programs here at Pueblo Community College and share that experience with the Lieutenant Governor Joe Garcia. Joe serves as the Executive Director of the Department of Higher Education in addition to his role as second in command to Governor John Hickenlooper. The dual role allows for consistent and expert leadership over the governor's education initiatives and efforts to form a seamless public education system for Colorado children of all ages. The Lieutenant Governor, along with the Commission on Higher Education, just released Colorado Completes, a statewide master plan for increasing college degree production. Working hand in hand with Colorado's colleagues in colleges and universities, Lieutenant Governor Joe Garcia has helped to improve remedial education and provide a smooth reverse transfer process between 2- and 4-year institutions. Before he was selected Lieutenant Governor, he was president of our Colorado State University, Pueblo, and earlier served as president of Pikes Peak Community College. Joe, it's a privilege to have you here today and share our program with you.
Thank you. It really is a privilege for me to be back in Pueblo and be able to see so many old friends and talk about the tremendous successes that we've seen both at Pueblo Community College and at CSU Pueblo. It's also interesting to be here with two women who were both my bosses in a previous life because Patty Javic, of course, used to be chair of the State Board for Community Colleges when I was the president at Pikes Peak, and Nancy McCallin was the president of the system. So I really reported to both of them. I still remember one board meeting when Patty was chairing it, and we were talking about funding allocation models for distributing the money among the different community colleges. And I remember walking to the podium and Patty kind of rolling her eyes and, oh no, here he comes again. But we had a lot of interesting conversations, and both were just such tremendous supporters of really all of the colleges in the system. We have to remember that the community college system is 13 community colleges, all very, very different. Public community college is very different than Lamar Community College, very different from Front Range or Red Rocks, but all play such an important role in meeting the workforce needs of Colorado and providing opportunities for not just young people, but people of all ages to come back and get trained for our workforce and to help strengthen Colorado. There's been good news in Colorado over the last several years as we've seen the economy rebound, not in every community to the same extent, but overall we've seen 200,000 new jobs added. We're really growing or really reducing our unemployment rate. And recently we were rated to have the #1 workforce in the country. That's a function of a system of public higher education that works effectively. But Colorado Completes is really about making sure that system works better. When we adopted the statewide master plan for higher education in Colorado, we weren't trying to replace the strategic plans that were in place at each of the institutions, but we were trying to get all the institutions to be focused on just a couple of very key goals that reflected statewide needs. And of course, the first one was we needed to increase degree production. Associate's degrees, bachelor's degrees, certificates. We needed more simply because the workforce in Colorado is it's already one of the most well-educated, but when we look at the jobs going forward, the jobs in the future, we know that about 74% of all those jobs are going to require some post-secondary credential. And we're not even close to being at 74%, although we're the second most well-educated state in the country. In our Front Range communities and among our Anglo population, over 53% of adults have a post-secondary degree. But if we break it down and look at our Hispanic population, our African American population, our rural population, we see the numbers are much, much lower. And we can't have sustained economic growth and vitality everywhere in the state unless we have educated people everywhere in the state. Now, we do a really good job, I think, in Colorado of enrolling students in college. And community colleges in particular do a great job of enrolling first-generation and minority students. We always cite community colleges as such a key access point. And yet, access isn't enough. We need to couple that with success. We need to couple that with completion. So the other goal one of the other goals in our statewide master plan was to increase persistence and success, especially among underserved populations, so that we can close that degree attainment gap. As I said, it's a big difference between our Hispanic population and our Anglo population, just as two examples. Over 50% versus 17%. Now, we know the fastest growing demographic in our school system in Pueblo and everywhere else in the state is among our Hispanic population. If we do not serve them more effectively, that really harms the ability of our state to have the kind of economy we all want going forward. So again, it's about not just enrolling those students, we also have to be very focused on preparing them adequately for success. So now we need to be very focused on early childhood education. We need to be focused on consistent high standards in our K through 12 system. And then we need to be focusing on providing the kind of financial support necessary to allow students to move into higher education. And we need to be very focused. But beyond all of that, we then need to focus on how do we get those students who are enrolled to actually persist and get a degree. And that's what Colorado Completes is all about. There's been a lot of studies about why students don't persist and graduate. And for first generation and minority students in particular, part of it is a sense of belonging and a sense of purpose. They often wonder, why am I at a college? What am I going to do here? Do I really belong here? Do I really deserve to be here? And so what happens is students, even those who performed well in high school, show up, they run into one problem. They get a bad grade on one paper, underperform on one test, and it reinforces what was already a subconscious fear, that they really didn't deserve to be there. And so what happens? They leave. They fade away. I saw that happen over and over when I was at Pikes Peak Community College. I even saw it at CSU Pueblo. We had students who were very capable, made a lot of progress, but eventually just disappeared without a credential. It takes a focused effort by the institutions to make sure those students feel engaged, feel that they belong there, that they deserve to be there. And then one of the things that's wonderful about this program with PCC is to have a sense of purpose, to know that this education actually leads somewhere to a particular job. And so I think that's one of the things that's really tremendous here. I will just use one example very close to home because it was my son. My son started at Fort Lewis College, but didn't really know what he wanted to do. And he kept saying, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what I want to do. And so what he did do was he spent a lot of time snowboarding and mountain biking and not going to class. And he lasted about a year. I'm not sure he got any credits. And then he ended up at Pikes Peak Community College. He wouldn't go there when I was president there, but after I left, he was willing to go. And he spent a couple years there still trying to figure out what he wanted to do. And eventually, he did figure it out, and it involved transferring to CSU Pueblo. One of the things that we've done well in the state and must continue to focus on is ease of transfer, so that you can take those credits from a community college to a four-year. And in my son's case, it did work. He was able to transfer to CSU Pueblo, again, only after I left. He was not willing to go there when I was there. After he got there, he said, this is where I should have been all along. This is exactly what I needed. And he did well, and he graduated and got several job offers and is now fully employed and is out of my house. That's good news. So all this can work, but again, we need to focus on making sure that our students have the opportunity to be successful, that they understand that they deserve to be successful, that they understand our institutions are there to serve them, and that they connect their education to a workforce opportunity. And that's why we're here to celebrate what Public Community Colleges has done. We know there are other examples at community colleges throughout the state. We know that when we said to all the colleges and universities, we want to get the best examples of what you're doing to ensure student success, we had 30 submissions from 30 different institutions touting what they were doing. We picked 8. Public Community College was one of those 8 because they had done such great work under Patty's leadership. And I'm here to learn more about it and to really help you celebrate that success and celebrate the long-term success of our students, which ultimately leads to the long-term success of our state. So thank you for being here to support both St. Mary-Corwin, a tremendous, tremendous asset to this community, has been for a very long time. I've been here, not in this building, but in the older building many, many times. I've been on the public community campus, community college campus more times than I can count. And I'm just very, very proud of what they've been able to accomplish and anxious to learn more. So thank you very much.
So now I have the privilege to introduce the president of the Colorado Community College System, Dr. Nancy McCallin. As president of the Community College System, Dr. McCallin leads the state's largest system of higher education, which serves more than 162,000 students annually. The system has academic programs in the 13 state community colleges and career and technical programs, and we are in more than 160 school districts and 7 other post-secondary institutions. Before coming to CCCS, Nancy served for 6 years as the executive director of the Governor's Office of State Planning and Budget, a cabinet-level position. In that role, she was responsible for policy and resource allocation for the state's $13 billion budget. I can't tell you what a wonderful individual this is. She is, and she has done so much to foster access and affordability and student success, and we're very pleased to have you here today, Nancy, to share in this opportunity to showcase. Thank you.
Thank you, Patty, and I too am standing before my former boss, Patty Urjavik. So Patty's been a lot of people's bosses. It is a privilege for me to be here in this program, which I have seen before, albeit at an earlier stage, is such an amazing program for our students. And it really was the brainchild of Patty Urjavik, and due to her innovation and strong partnership with St. Mary-Corwin, we've been able, or Patty, Pueblo Community College, has been able to put in place this program. So I first want to thank Lieutenant Governor Joe Garcia for recognizing this program, one of 8 programs throughout the state. So PCC should be very, very proud of this, both PCC and St. Mary-Corwin. It's an honor for it to be considered one of the best 8 programs in the state. I also want to thank the CEO of St. Mary-Corwin, Brian Moore, for partnering with Pueblo Community College to give our students this invaluable opportunity. We do not have this opportunity anywhere else in the state. And I know that he could not join us here today, but I really, truly need to recognize his support. I want to thank Patty for your innovative leadership in making this happen. And as I said, shortly after this program began, I was fortunate enough with our state board to tour the program. And I was amazed at what our students were able to do and what they were being offered. It offers our students, this partnership offers our students to have a hands-on experience of a day in a life of what it would be like to work in a hospital. And as a result, we know when students are engaged in this manner, they are more likely to succeed and more likely to continue on in their studies. There have been many studies showing that students, just as equally as needing a job and wanting a job after they graduate, want to see what their day will look like when they enter into the workforce. So this partnership allows that access. It's a unique and innovative partnership that allows access for our students to understand what it is in a day in a life in the hospital. It keeps our students engaged through very active learning, and it improves their retention and graduation rates. I know that we will see that it keeps students inspired to continue their studies as we move ahead. So thank you, Lieutenant Governor. We're very proud to have you here today. Thank you, Patty, for your tremendous leadership. And thank you, St. Mary-Corwin and Brian Moore, for this opportunity.
Thank you, Nancy, for the very kind words, but you must know that it wasn't me. It was the people in this room that had the vision and the will, because when I came to PCC, one thing, I was fortunate because I came when enrollments were bursting. And so, of course, as president, you look great because, you know, people ask how's enrollment, and, you know, you can say we're up 10, 20, 30%, and people think, wow, what a leader. But what folks don't understand is that we were losing students just as fast as we were bringing them in. And in a community like Pueblo, Colorado, I have to tell you, we only have so many citizens. We only have so many students. And if those students don't persist and graduate and go out into the workforce as highly productive individuals, what will happen to our community? And so we began immediately talking about the fact it's great that we have the students, and we want all the students who want an education to come to us, but we also want them to stay with us, and we want them to graduate. And so that's something we've been talking about for the last 5 years. And so then the question was turned back on the faculty and staff, so what are we going to do about this? And it became obvious that teaching the curriculum the way we've been doing for the last 50, 60 years probably had become obsolete, and that we needed to get creative, and we needed to be able to provide an educational environment where the students could engage in and could touch it and could feel it, because that's what our learners of today are all about. They're not sitting in a classroom hearing that traditional lecture any longer. At least it's not true at Pueblo Community College, and I think that's true for most of institutions of higher ed. So one of the discussions that we had, we knew that we had strong healthcare programs, and so Dean Chavez and the Director of Nursing, Eva Tapia, and I started talking about what it would take to expand our health programs. Well, as you know, Pueblo Community College is landlocked. There is nowhere else to go. But it was really Eva who said, I know of this fabulous space on the 6th floor at St. Mary-Corwin, and wouldn't it be great if we were allowed to expand that? But I don't think it'll ever happen. Well, that is where I did have the opportunity to step in and have a discussion with the CEO at the time, Rob Ryder, and Donna Fisher, and say, what do you think about this? Could we do this? And you know, they didn't say no right away. So that was a good sign. And so then we began having more discussions and dreaming, and before you knew it, we were signing a memorandum of understanding. And then quite frankly, Mary and her team, Eva and her team took it from there and really created what you are about to see today. So we have tremendous resources and assets at Pueblo Community College in our faculty and staff. They are very creative, and once you unleash this creativity, who knows what's going to happen next. So since you've been with us, Dr. McCallin, we have had an opportunity to open a surgery tech program. And when you see this surgery center, this lab, I think you will be very impressed, because again, it just gives our students more hands-on experience. So then we were in a department chair meeting, and again you asked the question, okay, what do we need to do to make sure that our students get something that they can't get anywhere else? And the biology chair said, if only we had a cadaver lab. And but that'll never happen. And I said, well, why not? Talk to me about it. Well, I have to tell you, that was quite an entertaining discussion. When you start talking about how you get a body and how you can use the body, and the faculty were very quick to educate me on the do's and don'ts of what could happen. But again, we came to St. Mary-Corwin and we said, what do you think about this idea? Well, I can't tell you that they jumped up and said yes right away on this either. But Mike Cafaso did his due diligence, and he went and visited a couple of other cadaver labs in institutions, and he came back and he said, I think we could do this, and I think we can do it better than any of the ones that I saw. So let's go for it. And so in the spring, we will be partnering with Colorado, the University of Colorado, and we will open a state-of-the-art cadaver lab where our students will be able to use this facility to learn and to grow, and not just in the health professions, but in the arts and science, and we actually see this being an asset for students throughout the college. So our students need to be able to get in there and touch and feel and get excited about what they're learning. And we know that if they're excited, they're going to come back the next day, and they're going to come back the day after that. And we have a faculty and staff that have embraced our students and made sure that we try very hard to take away every excuse that they could possibly come up with. Can't get to work? We'll drive you there. Can't find a babysitter? We'll find help. you know, don't really know if you want to be in this profession, come with us. Come to the hospital. Come see what's going on. So I think that we are taking your vision and the objective that we really need students to hang in there regardless of what life comes their way, and let them know that at the end of the day, this is where they could end up as an employee, as a vibrant, highly skilled individual that's making a difference in the lives of our community and the people that really need help. So as you can tell, I'm a little bit excited about this, a little bit passionate about it, because we have great students. And sometimes I think we see their greatness before they see their greatness. And so it's pretty darn exciting when we can see them come over to our side. And this is one way that we do it. So with having said all of this, Donna, I set you up for a great introduction. This is Donna Fisher, who is the Director of Nursing here at St. Mary-Corwin, and she's been with us every step of the way, right from the first time we dreamed and asked the question, what if, to today with what you're about to see. So with that, Donna Fisher.
First off, I would like to welcome all of you for coming today. I think you're in for quite a treat when you go up and see the sim lab. It is pretty phenomenal to go up there and see what they do. We are very proud to be partners with PCC in the simulation lab. And just to kind of give you some brief statistics on what we do here at the hospital and how it benefits us. We have had over 800 simulations for our clinical staff in the hospital since we have put the sim lab in place. That's pretty phenomenal when you think about how we have been able to take the technology from sim and transpose it or transfer it into what we do on a daily basis here at the hospital. Some of the just brief examples, we have what's called an RRT team, which is a rapid response team. And that is a team that we have that's been put into place to respond to emergencies inside the hospital, wherever that emergency may be. So we've actually taken those simulations and helped train all of our team, if you will, and that includes respiratory therapy, it includes nursing, it includes physicians, and run them through the simulations for a rapid response, what we call a rapid response. And so we've done that. As a matter of fact, one of our educators, Ellen Lane, who is with us, she wrote a paper. She did a research paper on the RR team, which just was published in Simulation for Nursing. Did I say that right? Clinical Simulation for Nursing. It was just released this week, actually. So that article is out there, and she did a research study on that, which was phenomenal to show that it does make a difference to run people through simulation, and it does increase their competence. We also use it for our annual competencies for our nursing staff. Just about every department in the hospital uses the sim lab. We use it for our neonatal nursery and the physicians so that they can take care of the preemie babies. We run them through the simulation, and it's just been a great advantage to the hospital, and we are so very happy to have it here and able to use it. And I know they're in the process, they're doing another paper, a research study that they've just completed, and they're in the process of writing their paper now. And I think they have one planned again for next year as well to show the benefits of simulation. So thank you guys for coming to us. We greatly appreciate it. I think we have been received a huge advantage on our side as far as being able to put our clinical staff through those situations and it not be a real patient, but get them better prepared to take care of those patients. Now I can say some of the nurses were a little concerned about it at first, especially those that have been nurses for a number of years because they've never done simulation. Now the newer nurses, it was a breeze, but I think everybody enjoys it. I think they like doing that, and it gives them an opportunity to feel very confident in what they're doing. So thank you guys very much.
So I am now going to turn this program over to the lady who really has spearheaded this entire project. She has a fabulous team. Mary Chavez has been a dean with us for 4 years, going on four. And from the moment she was named dean, she hit the ground running. She really has worked very hard to build just a magnificent team of faculty and instructors who I think they do just about anything for you. In fact, they do just about anything for you, including... But I think that, again, under your leadership, we really have been able to move our health programs forward and make sure that not only do the students come, but I don't know if you've all received the handout. The students that come to us are very well prepared. They have exceptionally high pass rates, and they all have job placement. That's exactly what it is that we set out to do. So, Mary, I don't want to steal any of your thunder anymore. I typically do because they let me talk first and I talk, and then Mary sits there politely and smiles. So I'm trying really hard to make sure that people, first of all, understand the wonderful contribution that you and your team have made. And with that, I'm going to turn over the rest of the program and the tours to you. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Patty, and my thanks also for everyone who's attended. And really, all three of you have stole a little bit of my thunder, but that's okay. I'll just skip over some of it. But I think you can see from everybody who's talked about this, this provides our students such an excellent opportunity for experiential hands-on learning and practice before they go out into clinicals. And our partnership with St. Mary-Corwin and the simulation center that we have really is unique. So other colleges have simulation labs, but we don't have a simulation partnership in a hospital setting. And so it is truly unique that our students are coming in here and practicing the skills that they're going to be doing out there in the workforce in the same setting that they're going to be working in. You can hear the overhead, the codes, the helicopter landing up on the building, all of that. Security, going through, making sure you're entering the right way, you're parking in the correct place, all of those things that students need to be aware of as they come into a facility and to work. And Lieutenant Governor talked about retention and making students feel belong. There is no doubt that our students coming into our programs, they come in as a group, they finish as a group, they are very engaged in their learning, and the simulation center and the labs that you'll see as far as our expansion of this just encourages that active engagement, and they feel a part of a group. And I truly believe that is a major component in what helps our students be successful. So our retention rate is higher than the average, our pass rates are high. Just encourages that active engagement, and they feel a part of a group. And I truly believe that is a major component in what helps our students be successful. So our retention rate is higher than the average, our pass rates are high as far as licensure exams, and it's part of being a group. And we did that well already, but this adds an added benefit of truly making them feel a part of it and getting this experience before they go out into clinical rotations. So they can practice. Donna Fisher talked about her staff and updating skills or refreshers, but our students would come in and practice on the mannequins, the simulation mannequins, and if something goes wrong, well, you know what, it's okay, because we're going to bring that mannequin back. So it's okay, and that will trigger the students and the faculty working with them to do problem solving and critical thinking. Okay, what went wrong? What should you have done? What did you miss? Why did this go wrong? And what could we have done differently? And being able to do that and touch it and feel it and see it is different than writing it on a board. It just is. And so that really, truly makes the students feel engaged, and I truly feel helps them be successful. So let me talk a little bit about our expansion and what you're going and some of what you're going to see. We have had a simulation lab, basically 1 week in the hospital for a year, that has primarily been used by our nursing students, radiology students, respiratory care students, and our EMS, emergency medical service students. The expansion is 3/4 of another wing, and we're going to have additional labs that will be used by physical and occupational therapy. And we will have 2 programs completely housed at St. Mary-Corwin. So one that'll be on the 6th floor is our medical assistant program, and it is just in its 2nd year, so it's a pretty new program, but in its 2nd year, we are setting up, they'll have their labs here and a classroom. And then Patty mentioned our surgical tech program, so that is brand new this year. It started in August. That lab is on the 2nd floor, so it's in what was a heart catheterization lab here at St. Mary-Corwin. So it was already set up for surgery, and we've turned it into a surgical tech lab. And it truly looks like a surgery room when you walk into it. And so, again, you'll see that on the tour. And so those programs will be completely housed here. And then the other thing, and you'll go on the 2nd floor, the other thing to keep in mind, Lieutenant Governor talked a little bit about, and Dr. McCallin, about being a system and a college and about the community of Pueblo. Our surgical tech program truly is a result of a community coming together. So St. Mary-Corwin, obviously very strong partnership in the space that we've received. They take all students in all of our health programs on clinicals. And that is true throughout hospitals, nursing homes, and different private practice facilities that employ healthcare practitioners. But the surgical tech program kind of started out that, unfortunately, Colorado Technical University was going to close their surg tech program. And that meant there was no surgical tech program in southern Colorado. So nothing south of Denver is there a surg tech program. And so actually both hospitals came to me and said, can you start a surgical tech program? And when you see all that equipment, you'll understand my hesitancy in the cost. And when I went to Patty, I said, I don't have a place for it. And then that's when we came to St. Mary-Corwin, and can we have space? But that equipment and supplies that started our program off is a true partnership of the Pueblo community. CTU donated all of their equipment and supplies from their program. Parkview Medical Center has donated supplies to that program, and St. Mary-Corwin has donated significant supplies and the space to the program. So it is truly about the whole community coming together to support higher education in Pueblo. So we're very proud of that. So that is on the 2nd floor. And that is also where the cadaver lab will be. It'll be right across the hall from the surg tech in another old heart catheterization lab. It's not ready to view. We're just starting remodel now, but you'll at least be able to see where it's going to be at. The other portion of our tour is our simulation house. This house also belongs to St. Mary-Corwin Hospital, and they're giving us that space to use. And a lot of people ask me, what do you need a house for? Well, what we're using a house for, one example is to do full-fledged capstone emergency response for our students. So we can have a mock emergency there and have our law academy. We have some of those students standing in the back. Our fire science students, some of them are also in the back. And our EMS students all respond to the house. We have a patrol car, we have an ambulance, we have a fire truck. So they can respond in those vehicles. We usually use a mix of live people and our simulated mannequins to get the patient stabilized, transport them in the hospital over here to St. Mary-Corwin, take them up to the 6th floor where our simulation lab is, turn that into a mock emergency room, and then have our nursing and other allied health students take over the care. So that's just one example. And also physical and occupational therapy can use that house for architectural barrier assessment, home training, how do you get in and out of that bathtub, how do you make the bed. And so it has lots of uses. And so we're very excited about all the opportunities we're going to have to engage our students and increase their successful rate, the retention rate, their graduation completers, and successfulness on their exam pass rates. And that all then is a benefit to everyone in our community because they're our healthcare providers. I'm going to be there being a patient for the students. And I have full confidence in the students that we graduate from our programs. So, so we're very, very excited about all of that. And so I think really at this point in time, we're going to get ready to start the tour.